Alex, thanks for talking to us. 6 goals, clean sheet. Not a bad night's work for you and the rest of the management team.
No, we were pleased with everything tonight. The attitude and approach to the game was excellent, Graham, and with and without the ball, they did everything that we asked of them. They were relentless in their attempts to win the ball back, which is what we particularly asked of them before the game, and the patterns and the way of playing and structure with the ball was good throughout. And obviously when you get to the stage of the game where it's gone away from the opposition and you're winning comfortably, sometimes bad habits can creep in, and they didn't, and that was another pleasing aspect of it. They continued to do the right things at the right time. The only disappointing thing that final half hour was a lack of a lack of composure in that final third, obviously, to make the scoreline more handsome than it was.
I suppose you can understand that, though, if you're 4 and 5-0 in the lead. I know what you want to get into. You want to be more and more ruthless. Is that what you're saying? Well, the game's 90 minutes long. You've got to be ruthless for 90 minutes. Yeah,
I don't understand why it would change it 6-0 after 60, because when chances present themselves in a few weeks' time when we're playing league football, they've got to be taken, and those good habits come from practicing in these situations every bit as much as they do when we're on at the training ground at Reesif in those situations. So, as I say, if you're going to be really picky, that last 30 in terms of the quality of the finishing wasn't great, but everything else with the ball up until that final third was, and the most pleasing thing was how tenacious they were trying to win the ball back, because that sets the tempo for everything that you do with the ball. If you don't fly about to try and win the ball back with intensity and real meaning, then I think that seeps into what you do with the ball. So the two are linked together. You try and win the ball back high, and you do relentlessly, then everything with the ball looks after itself.
2 or 3 individuals I want to speak about. Courtney Baker Richardson, two good goals for him. Dan Ajayi, 2 good goals for him as well. Just on those 2 lads, first of all, how does that make them feel? Because that's what they're there for, goals.
Yeah, they're there to assist and to score. And both of their goals were very different. Courtney's was a great finish for the second goal, which was a fabulous move, and then his second one was a tap-in. Daniel's, again, 2 very different goals. His first one was a tap-in, and his second one was a great touch, brought it down from the sky and showed composure to finish. So 2 very different types of goals that we're going to need from both of them, and Callum and Bass were every bit as good. Those front 4, whoever they may be, obviously you bring Chris Long into that, Ollie Finney can come into that, and others over time, hopefully. Have got to be a real nuisance for the opposition back 4, and there's some power in there, some pace in there, and there's a good mix, and we've got to make sure we get that mix right, and if we do, we're going to score plenty of goals.
Talk about Charlie Finney, who's most people who follow Crewe and followed him in the academy is that attacking number 10 player, or that midfield player with likes to get forward. All of a sudden, in the last couple of friendlies that you've got under your belt, he's turning in a left back or left wing back role, whatever you want to call it. Just your overall thoughts of how's that come about, first of all, and what do you make of it?
Yeah, we can't take any credit for putting him there, Graham. He's been put there because we've got 2 left backs currently injured, another left back who's playing in midfield who might well end up being his main position in Tariq, because we're short in there at the minute just because players are carrying knocks and niggles. So Charlie was the next one in. It wasn't through any design that we put in there, but he's shown how versatile he is and what a good footballer he is. Good footballers can play in any position, and Charlie's certainly that. He won't end up there, but he's shown that he can play there. And often when you make your debut early, you come in your secondary position, you might not play in your primary position. Those positions outside the middle of the pitch, in the case of players like Charlie, who are going to play more centrally perhaps, are the ones there, the good introductory positions, and he's got a great brain, he's got good techniques, he's going to be good physically, so we're hoping he's going to end up being part of the first team, and certainly getting substitute appearances more than starting appearances this season very soon.
Talk about 2 McDonalds. One was a trialist, Cornell McDonald. You had a couple of looks at him. How do you think he's doing, and what's the situation?
Yeah, he's done really well. He's a great kid. He's got a good pedigree, obviously coming from Derby, and he's done all we can possibly expect of him in this situation. It's tough for trialists because they're coming into a new environment, and they've got to be as good as, if not better than what we've got. So it's always difficult. That's why 9 times out of 10 you don't take trialists. 9.5 times out of 10 you don't. The ratios are against him. For that he's lasted as long as he had indicates how well he's done, because by now we've usually made the decision, and usually it's not a good one with trialists. So we're going to continue to have a little look at him over the next few days, and then obviously make a decision relatively early on him, because he deserves that, because He's worked tirelessly in terms of doing as well as he can possibly do.
And your central defender, Rodney McDonald, what's he bringing in already? Does he help the likes of Offords and Charlie Finney's and even Cornell on the other side? Do you see that gathering pace with the rest of the team?
He just likes defending, Rod, and what he does do is he'll clip a ball in behind the opposition back four with a bit of check on it, so it holds up and we can get up the pitch and we can chase the ball down. And if we don't get there first, centre-halves kick the ball out of play and we're up the pitch. So sometimes you can't play beautiful passing football where you bounce it out through your midfielders and you get your full-backs out and you work it around them like we did for the second goal. There'll be loads of occasions this year and we'll need to stick balls in behind and chase it down. And we're going to have a team that's going to be full of energy. We'll make sure of that so you can chase down lost causes. And also, he'll head it out of our box and he'll be a threat heading it in their box. So all the things that we think we need from a centre-half, he's going to give us, and he complements Luke Offord particularly well. And the other boys, like Billy Sass-Davies, Conor O'Riordan, they'll be learning off those two as the season goes on and bringing them on, because as coaches we can obviously develop them, but there's players on the pitch that can develop those younger boys as well.